So we were on the 13th hole at Tatum Ridge, and I got up to go to drive with my driver. And I've been driving the ball fairly decently, and I was feeling good. And if you looked around 240 yards away, right in the middle of the fairway, there was 2 work trucks and a tractor. And what sounded like drilling for oil, which is a pretty highly in-demand item these days. So perhaps it was worth it. Well, there's 4 of us. Here are their first names: Christopher, Andrew, Jacob, and Bo. So we all get out to drive, and Andrew, Jacob, and Christopher, they all bomb theirs past the tractors and the trucks. They're strong. Me, not as strong. And so I hit my drive. I'm aimed right at them because that's where the fairway is. I hit it. And I mean, not even 5 yards away, it almost hits them in the noggin. It was a tough look. But then Christopher gets in trouble in the wooded area. Christopher hits a 4-iron, low and slow, baby. There's a gap there, is what he said. He proclaimed, "There's a gap there, Bo. I think I'm going to get it." And Christopher goes on to hit it. And indeed, he did not make it through the gap. Shoots off the tree, rolls under the truck. And we walk across the fairway to where that truck is. And the guy's like, "Hey guys, there's a ball there." We're like, "Thanks." So we just kick it a little bit away from them, and then we move on about our days. Well, that's hole 13. We go on to hole 18, last hole of the day. We're on the green of hole 18. We turn around. The truck is driving in the middle of the fairway. It's hilarious. Something I've never seen before. Just a Ford F-150. Many speculated that it was Tiger Woods, but it wasn't. He was in jail already. Too soon? Too soon? No. That was a funny joke. And the truck goes on. Then, a mere days later, we get a call. Christopher gets the call. He's like, "Hey, we charged more than what we said. So our online rates, they were $50. Our in-person rates, $96. And I've never seen anything like it, or frankly even heard anything like it." Well, Christopher, after hitting the tree, he had some words. He had some choice words for the fine people of the pro shop. He shared with them how unpleasant that news was to him. The pro shop, I believe, shared back, "We understand what you're feeling right now. Frankly, there's nothing we can do it. It's a systems issue." And so the creator of the system has intentionally created a system that rewards the online shopper, removing interaction from humans, who then can eventually be replaced by computers. Do you see where this development is going? We're in a world that is prioritizing internet, the interwebs, and frankly, it's at the cost of human connection. Now, if you know me, you know I love the internet. I love perusing the internet. I love browsing the web, as some may say, and you learn a lot of things through the interwebs. But here's what you don't learn. You don't learn facial expressions. You don't learn humans. No, you don't. And so a passion and a desire for the internet cannot compromise human connection. Now, many of you may be saying, "Well, Bo, frankly, it's a business decision." And I agree with you. It's a smart business decision if your goal is the temporary here and now. But what happens when the system crashes? Sorry, guys, no golf. Can't buy on our system, and we don't have any humans to assist you. You can see where there might be a fault. And I'm not here to make a proclamation or come to a conclusion based on that. I'm just here presenting the facts. And the fact of the matter is that Christopher felt like he was jibbed. He felt like he was robbed. And frankly, whenever I heard the number 96 for Tatum Ridge, I felt robbed. Not because of the online versus human thing, but because the course is not worth $96. And you could take that to the bank. I would say that course, 50 is a fair, perhaps generous number. The greens rolled nicely. The tee boxes were not in great shape, but you got to make money somehow. Obviously, we fell into their little concoction they brewed up. And I'm not stressed about it, but I wanted to share. Perhaps there's buyer's remorse there. And the remorse would be from the financial aspect, not the time aspect. The time together was absolutely sensational. You know, we actually sat together in our golf carts. There were 4 of us, so there were 2 golf carts. But we spent some time getting 2 golf carts, taking the people from 2 golf carts and putting them into 1 golf cart. Then we held each other and cried in one another's arms, just recounting the beautiful blessings the Lord has given to us. And one of those blessings for me was I'm looking forward to a golf retreat in Myrtle Beach first week in June. And in preparation for that, I went to Tatum Ridge, and in preparation for that, I also walked 18 this past week at Turkey Creek Golf Course. And if you know me and if you know this podcast, you know that Turkey Creek would be a staple. Not due to its great conditions. In fact, these conditions were lackluster. And you may be thinking, Bo, all you're saying are bad things today. I found myself thinking bad things that day. And it was borderline sinful, and I need to repent. First ask forgiveness from the Lord, then ask forgiveness from the people that I sinned against, then allow myself to forgive myself. I believe that would be the order of operations. But I wanted to explain. So I call them up. I say, hey, would love to walk 18 holes solo this afternoon. You got any times available between 1:30 and 2? And they give me that time, 1:40 p.m. Well, I'm showing up, and there is a ton of people there, so I get a little nervous. I'm thinking, great heavens, will the course be alive? Will the course have room? I know I got my spot, but will I be paired up with 3 others who are in a cart? And will I just send them in front of me, or will I need to go fast for the first few holes? Well, anyway, I arrive at the first hole, and it turns out there's a tournament going on. Keep that in the back of your mind. There's a tournament going on. And I get to the first hole. I tee off an abominable, absolutely abominable first drive. It ended up in play, snap hook into a tree, drop straight down. The ranger, after I hit it, I looked at the ranger, and he was looking down at his Hunt Brothers pizza slice. And so I pray to the Lord that he didn't see that atrocity. Well, the ground on the left side of the fairway is under repair. This is true for holes 1, 2, 9, and 18. All right, they did not share that with me on my call. I believe they charged me full price, and they shared it with me in the tee shop. Well, first hole arrives. I've snap hooked it to the right. So we're in the clear. Hole 2, we get there. I get to the tee box. Sprinklers are spraying in the middle of the fairway on hole 2. It's a beautiful thing. It reminds me of high school golf. There were a few times at Tanglewood where that occurred, and you live to see another day. Well, I hit my drive right in the fairway into the water. Well, I take some liberties. I move it to the right. I don't want to hit out of mud. And that's part of the deal. 1, 2, 9, and 18. Remember those numbers. 1, 2, 9, and 18. Well, we continue on. And I keep playing. And because I'm walking, I really enjoy walking. If you prefer to ride in a cart, I'd encourage you to walk one day, in golf terms, because you actually begin to think of your shots a little bit more. Or if you have a negative self-talk problem like myself did on Friday, it's actually not that beneficial. Well, we get to hole 9. I'm walking up. Then this elderly couple, and they were kind, but I'm walking up to the tee box, and it's a par 4, but the ground is so under repair that they've turned it into a par 3. And it's almost a hole that it'd be better to just skip. Well, I'm walking up, and they come out of their backyard with push carts and go right onto the hole. Then they're standing in front of me about 30 yards middle of the fairway. The guy says, "Go on and hit." Well, at the tee box that Turkey Creek is placed for a par 3, they put the tee box right in front of, or right behind, a tree where the limbs are hanging over. So if you hit it into the air 20 yards, and not even 20, I could jump and touch the tree limb. So it would have been, 3 yards? Well, if you hit it in the air that high, you're hitting the tree. So I had to hit a low-cut stinger. Well, they're sitting in the middle of the fairway. He said, "Go hit." So then my ball, I have to hit low-cut stinger fade to not hit them. And I say that acting like I'm actually good enough to do those things. Frankly, I'm not. Well, I go into the bunker. The guy's like, "Really good shot." I get out of the bunker. "Really good shot. Hope you're doing well." Very kind, but it's unlike anything I've ever seen. Until we get to hole 10. Hole 10, absolutely comical. I hit the first shot, 3-wood. It's a par 5, but there's water 250 out. So I hit 3-wood, hit around 225, right side of the fairway. There's a tree in the middle, so you got to curve it left or go over the water, which you got to carry the water 220 to get to the hole. I'm not feeling that confident from 3-wood territory. So I go on the left side, try to hit a little draw into the green. Well, as soon as I get to my ball, the sprinkler system shoots up on the green. And so I'm laughing the whole time. It's pretty comical. Frankly, I smacked the ball. I hit it as hard as humanly possible, and it did exactly what I wanted to, and it flew the green by just 5 yards or so. Well, I'm walking up to the green, and I sent Brett a videograph, which was funny, because the green is just getting absolutely shot with water from the sprinkler system. I'm walking up to the green. The flag pin, you can hear the flag pin just getting hit by sprinkler. So I got a chip for eagle, and the rest is history. Made birdie on that hole. Ball was wet the rest of the day. I mean, they put the sprinklers on, I think, all day. Do you remember when I shared about that tournament happening, or the large group of people? Well, now comes into the play, in effect, I wonder what that tournament was thinking as they were going through. Because if I'm a golf course, which I'm not, I would think that I'd want to show and have my best out there for these tournaments. I'm afraid Turkey Creek did not have their best out there. And I'm not a Turkey Creek hater. I love it. I'm thankful for it. It's affordable golf, but Friday was something else. And so I shot my low round of my life, of my career. I shot a 77 that day, 5 over. I did give myself some grace, so I'm not really counting that as my low round of the career. My recovery was okay. I mean, my recovery was good. My driving was terrible. My putting, ever since Tatum Ridge, has been somewhat solid, which is not my normal game. A quote I like to use often is, "You will never make a putt that you leave short. It's physically impossible. Yet somehow I do it almost every hole." But that's life. I had no 3 putts. I was thankful for that. And that's enough about me. So let's start talking about narwhals and whales. Here's my question for you, the listener. Would you rather be a narwhal or a whale? And specifically a blue whale. So those are the largest mammals. But here's a little fact about narwhals. You may be curious. Narwhals, they have that massive little tusk. That was an oxymoron. Massive and little don't go together. They have a massive tusk on their noggins. You may have never wondered what that was for. Well, good. I'm here to inform you whether you would like to or not. Males, they tend to have them. Females, not so much. Well, what does the tusk good for? I want to read to you some important things. They have a spiraled tusk. It's a canine tooth that projects from the left side of the upper jaw. And if you're probably feeling your canines right now, the human canine. This is unlike any human canine. But both sexes, male and female, have a pair of tusks embedded in their upper jaw. The males erupt from the lip somewhere between 2 and 3 years of age. The tusk grows throughout the animal's life, reaching lengths of 1.5 to 3 meters. I wonder if narwhals have a competition with each other. Hey, brother, I have the largest tusk. You have a small tusk. What do you have to say about yourself? But did you know that the tusk is hollow? It weighs up to 16.4 pounds. It's actually quite filled with nerve endings, so it allows them to sense what's around them. Some males may grow 2 tusks, occurring when the right canine also protrudes through the lip. Here's the deal with females. Females rarely grow tusks. When they do, the tusks are typically smaller than those of males with less noticeable spirals. And so the current scientific consensus, in case you're wondering, it indicates that narwhal tusks are secondary sexual characteristics which indicate social status. And so that query that I presented earlier, hey bro, what's the deal with your tusk? Why is it so small? Seems as if it does go toward the social status. And so if you have a large tusk, you may be more macho in the narwhal's eyes. Perhaps you have a smaller tusk, which means you may be less macho in the narwhal's eyes. Who is there to say? Not me. I'm not a narwhal expert, even though you may be thinking I am by now. Well, it's not invented, it's innervated sensory organ with millions of nerve endings, allowing the narwhal to sense temperature variability in its surroundings. And so the narwhal, the tusk, is a key part of the narwhal's life. And the narwhal, alongside its tusk, has a pair of small vestigial teeth that reside in open tooth sockets in the upper jaw. And so the narwhal is composed strangely. There's no doubt about it. It's unique. It leaves a lasting impression on those that it encounters. The narwhal, you may be wondering what it eats, what's its diet. There's not a ton out there for the narwhal, to be frank with you, but they did do a study of the stomach contents, and they found that there were 73 narwhals found Arctic cod to be the most commonly consumed prey. That's Arctic cod for those, or the scientific term Borogodus sida. And followed just underneath that was the Greenland halibut. And so the narwhal is an Arctic creature, but it's a species of whale. And so it's a species of toothed whale. Well, how about the blue whale? So your options are narwhal or blue whale, and you need to let me know. And the blue whale is a species of baleen whale. It's the largest marine mammal in the rorqual family, Balanetropode, right underneath the megalodon, I believe. And so what does the blue whale eat? Because it's large. It is in all counts and measures massive. There's nothing little about it. And so it's the largest animal known to ever have existed. Of course, your megalodon people, there's no evidence, but them and Bigfoot are about the same, I'd say. Don't come at me. And what do they eat, you may be wondering? Well, the blue whale's diet, almost exclusively krill. And so they capture through lunge feeding. They swim towards krill at high speeds with their mouths open at 80 degrees. They may engulf 220 metric tons of water at one time. And so it sounds like the blue whale gets a little bloated. Sounds like the water intake and the krill intake is about all it intakes, while the narwhal is a little more nimble, a little more flexible in its diet, consisting of halibut and Arctic cod. I'm going narwhal, if you ask me, but I am curious what you think. I like the narwhal. I like its unique ability. I don't really want to be the largest, most round mammal in the world or animal to ever have existed. It's not really something that interests me. The blue whale doesn't seem like it can fight off for itself. Though it is large, it'd take a long time to fight. I think that's its only tactic to survive. While as the narwhal, the tusk coming out of their mouths, I mean, that's immediate pain right there, already endured at the beginning of their life. And so they're tougher. They can eat a little bit more, and they're not large, though they are a whale. And so they are, that's just what I'm going with, narwhal. Now you may be wondering, reproduction and birth for the blue whale specifically, allow me to share the age of sexual maturity in blue whales is thought to be between 5 and 15 years, with females reaching an average of 10 years and males reaching an average of 12 years. In the northern hemisphere, the length at which they reach maturity is 21 to 23 meters. So that's 69 to 75 feet for females, or 66 to 69 feet for males. Interesting. And so pregnant females eat roughly 4% of their body weight daily, amounting to 60% of their overall body weight throughout the summer foraging periods. And whilst gestation for humans lasts generally 9 months, gestation may last 10 to 12 months, with calves, meaning the babies, not the legs, being 20 to 23 feet long, weighing 2 to 3 long tons at birth. Just think about that. And the human female body, the Homo sapien body, is a beast of itself. But think about the blue whale carrying that much weight in its womb. I can't. I don't even know how to picture it, but I celebrate it. And so that's a little bit about the blue whale and the narwhal. Both whale species, both different functions, both live to see the ocean. And so if you're willing to share about what your preference is, I'd love to hear it. Narwhal or blue whale. What else is going on? So the past couple of weeks, I started in a run club. And the run club is for Westside, which is the church I attend and am a part of. Well, I'm the only one who's showed up so far. Does that mean I'm going to stop? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I praise God for people and the eventual people that will be encouraged by the Lord because of it. And this is just laying the groundwork. You want to start something, you can't wait for people to hop on board. It's just not the way things work. You got to go do it. See what happens. If it fails, it fails. But wouldn't you rather know than not do it? I don't even always follow that advice myself, but for this specific example, I did. If you're listening to this, you live in Gainesville or the surrounding areas, I'd love to see you at 7 a.m. on Tuesdays. And one of the things the Lord has been teaching me is authenticity to the self. It's an interesting comment, but if you're not willing to be honest with yourself, then everything we're doing is kind of manipulating those around us. So once we're honest with ourselves, we can actually move forward with clear conscience. And I think that starts with asking the Lord, make my mind a clear and empty vessel for your work and glory. And when I say empty, I don't mean without knowledge. I simply mean clear the distraction from my mind. If there's something I need to be thinking about, I pray to God that it would be within His will. And if it's not, remove it. That is what I mean. And it's not perfect, and it never will be. But I think we've got to strive to be like the Lord. And so as we wrap up our time together, allow me to leave you with one last word of encouragement. We've been studying this idea of service at church on Sunday mornings, what servant leadership means, etc. And the idea is that when we serve, it can't be motivated to earn God's approval. That's not our motivation. Our motivation isn't to earn status in our Christian community. The motivation is the joy of the Lord and what He's done for us. And so we tend to say a lot of the times, we serve God. We serve God. I serve God in this capacity. I serve God in this capacity. And the truth, quite frankly, is God doesn't need us to serve Him. He doesn't need us to do anything for Him. In fact, we are served by Him. Jesus says, I did not come to be served, but to serve and give my life as a ransom for many. And so if we can't be served ourselves, and this goes along the lines of being truthful with ourselves, if we just hide under the guise of work and talent and skill, then we will never see how good Jesus is. And then we will never serve with the right motivation and the right heart. And so service actually starts with humbling ourselves and allowing us to be first served by the Lord. And I think that's a beautiful picture whenever you look at what Jesus did at the Last Supper when He removed His outer garments to wash the feet of His disciples. It was a picture of Him removing His perfection, becoming human on this earth. He did not lose His divinity, but He did experience the wrath of God. So He did not remove His technical perfection, but He removed His ability to not experience the wrath of God willingly on our behalf. And so He took on the judgment for us. And because of that great gift and because of the mercy and grace of the Lord Jesus, that's our motivation to serve, because we don't have a choice. Not choice as in yes and no, but choice as in that is our only response to the goodness of Jesus, is how can I glorify you more? One of those capacities is serving. And so I'd encourage you, if that's not your mindset, pray for that mindset. I'm not saying it happens every overnight, but I do want us to strive for that, because there's a strong temptation in our lives, in a life where everything you receive is earned for the most part. Whenever you grow up, think about your degree from college. You had to put in work to get that degree. Think about your salary or money from work. You have to put in the work to receive that salary. Really, everything you have is due to your work. You putting in effort, you receiving something back in return. That is not the case in the kingdom of God. Everything we have has nothing to do with our work, other than we are terrible workers in that we are sinners. And so the work we put in is sin, and what we receive is a free gift of not experiencing the wrath of God. So if our response to that is anything but a desire to glorify and serve for the Lord, then we're missing the mark. Again, you're not going to do it perfectly. I certainly don't. But with that mindset, I believe God will align our hearts with his will if we ask him and do and get off our rear ends and do things for his glory and his pleasure. And that's why we exist, for his glory and his pleasure. And that leads to my song of the week, which is going to be a song by a gentleman named Michael Gabriel Monroe. It's called Heaven Sings Holy. It's an interesting, the first time I heard it, it wasn't a normal sounding song, but it was kind of hype. So I've been running at Run Club. I've been turning this song on, running to it. I'd encourage you to listen to it. You might get a little groovy, start moving, and get longer strides. But to be frank with you, I've missed you all. I know Brett misses you. He wishes he could be here. I got to see him and the family a couple of weeks ago, and that was a great time. Stetson had a performance that he absolutely rocked it out. He was dancing with his hands in his pocket, kind of wondering what was going on. And so I celebrate that for him. But we read some books, him, Callan, and I, and we had a ball of a time. And frankly, this has been a ball of a time. And that's why this has been the Quite Frankly podcast. And I love you deeply and generously.